was around there, but I guess assuming that he'd fallen back for the late round post plant.
Yeah.
And now, well, with the extra kills he got in that round, 1 away from a lockdown, something I'm sure they're going to want to try and get online. In fact, already challenging early for the orb, but I was going to say it's gone all right until the extra swing in. Valen again.
Doesn't need the orb either, does he? Leaf's got his ult online from that pick. Yeah, that looked really good. The staggering utility from G2 pushed PRX back. They decided to stick around in the choke point, which is often a mistake, but they won the fight despite the util being thrown their way.
Now.
But now the fact that Leaf got that pick has the ultimate to work with, it's going to buy so much time. And then you've got to root these players out of position. Trent still has a shock dart to work with. Believe there's a nano on the spike alongside an alarm bot. This is going to be a very difficult round, as it has been for PRX in all of these retakes. This one feels that little bit more stacked against them. Shock dart the one to find the kill, and Device looking the wrong way into heavy traffic. 8-4. This has been a stellar first half from G2, and PRX better hope their attack can make up the gap.
Yeah, no, I think there was a bit in the middle where we had some sort of good disruptive play coming out of the likes of PRX, but G2 the last few rounds just stabilized, slowed things down, had these really good takes, so I think it's going to be a tough second half. We'll see if PRX can turn it after the break.
एंड क्यों करी बोला था PRX with loss अरे मैं चुप हो जाओ बहन गाली आली वक्त दूंगा
Trade in any phone in any condition guaranteed and get $800 off the new Galaxy Z Fold 6 only on Verizon.
G2 looking strong हाँ भाई G2 तो strong ही है यार G2 कब से weak हो गया बढ़िया भाई मूड सा खराब हो गया 8-4 का हाफ देख के तो ऐश भाई
सही बात है भाई
स्टार्ट तो डंका किया था ऐसी बात नहीं है स्टार्ट गंदा नहीं था
मैं कौन सी माइनस से तो भाई लग तो गंदी रही थी भाई
तो कितने होते हैं भाई
भाई लग तो गंदी रही थी ऐसा मतलब ऐसा भाई ऐसे मतलब छपरी फ्री फायर स्ट्रीमर करते हैं भाई लाइव पर शॉर्ट्स पे लाइव
और क्या छोटे लोग करते हैं ये सब काम
Welcome back. If you weren't with us before the break, you missed 5 straight rounds from G2 on the attack. PRX tried their best to disrupt, but it's them that have been left in the dirt. Now for G2, a defensive side start to the second half, and they've got quite a lead. A pistol here. It may just be into the home stretch. It's the pressure is on for PRX fan.
It's dangerous as well.
EDG को रहेंगे भाई ये PRX वाले नहीं फुट को रहेंगे फुट को ये नीचे जाएंगे भाई
फुट को रहेंगे EDG तो जीत जाएगी
हाँ फुट को रहेंगे EDG तो जीतेगी
फुट को रहेंगे but ultimately you're not going to want to lose your own map choice at the beginning of the day. And I think they're going to have a very strong attack side. Now, they normally do. As I said, when they win this map, you're looking at, as I said, 10-2 attack halves, whereas the likes of DFM, even DRX, the prior time to last. And a lot of this comes off the back, well, the two players we've just witnessed, Jing and Forsaken. Jing and Something. A terrifying duo on the entry. But just look at already the aggressive stance that has been taken by G2 in mid.
Yeah, they're looking for the triple push off the back of the contact from Trent. And they're even hearing some of the steps. Some information there. We'll see how quickly they get on that flank. The retake setup, though, certainly in play. You can see Leaf is just backing off, conceding this space. And in fact, the flank abandoned after breaking the turret. Now look to play. This is a more conventional retake. Wall buys a little bit of time, and the plant should be in. Shock dart, though, for damage.
Yeah, they have so much plant denial a lot of the time on the side of G2, but now it's going to be utilized for the retake. One man still hidden in the corner, and he strikes. Mind Freak with a couple. Jing steps up with another, and in fact, he gets two himself. But it's left onto Trent. You wouldn't want anyone
nice,
else to collapse.
जीत रहे
And
हैं.
although he's low, he's almost taken him down. The shock dart may even kill off Jing, but it doesn't matter. It will be a last-second shot that ends up giving PRX a much-needed pistol round.
Well, that came very close. Travel
बढ़िया,
time with
बढ़िया.
that arrow, all that made the difference. But it's
ये तो
enough.
चाहिए था.
PRX take the pistol, and this is a much-needed win. An injection of rounds early on, at least if they can manage to convert in the follow-up that they needed to close the gap after that first half. 5 rounds in a row before this for G2. Finally, we see a stall out to that momentum.
Yeah, I think important that they get that job done for this one. Get themselves back into the map, and it looks like the defensive side are almost trying to sell confusion here. They've got the Viper screen combining with the harbor wall. The thing is, it seems like PRX, similarly to the last round, they're just happy to play around their opponent's utility, like almost use it to their advantage. Whether or not they can abuse the gaps more than their opponents can.
I mean, they've taken a big gamble with Turkey's watching the back, but they're committing 5 players after making all this noise. The stack up is there from G2, but it doesn't seem to
something
matter.
something nice.
They're being
Very good, very
shredded on
good.
the site with one man behind that wall.
Flawless,
Soon to
yeah,
fall,
flawless.
it's icy
Leave
down,
से kill मत हो जाना
and
बस.
Leaf to do it all.
मार दो.
See if he can
Flawless
find a 1v5 with a classic. No. What a surprise.
Nice.
3 kills from something. Big round for him, farming up some orbs, and a solid one without a single player falling for PRX.
Yeah, and the thing is, they invested in with 4 rifles. So normally you're expecting, okay, maybe you can afford to lose a couple of players. In that case, they couldn't, but they kept it so
G2
ridiculously
PRX
quick.
might
Didn't
win.
really
Something
struggle
need
at
to
all.
lock in.
Orbs
Jink
kinda
also.
spread across the
यार
board,
भाई
which
ऐसे क्या है?
obviously
सब
is nice
PRX
if
पसंद नहीं है किसी को यार.
but
कैसी
right now
बातें
it'll
कर.
be a little bit more frustrating. But then they bought back up with an outlaw as well. Like we see this quite often, having that
भाई
lurking
वही तो बोल रहा
player
हूँ.
just
प्रीमी
being
तो
able to
PRX में आएगा
hold
भाई.
down mid, watch anybody who's trying to push on the A site.
PRX को
Now
जरूरत
though,
नहीं है वैसे. But
it's an
still
important
भाई.
round for G2 because they lose this bonus, and it's a strong bonus. They're right back in the game. He's just full sprint. He's just okay. This W gaming. How could I forget?
Yeah, well, in case you needed a reminder, there it is. Man's lost his shift key.
आवाज
We'll see if he
किसका आ रही?
finds it
टिंग
soon.
टिंग.
Running back down the tube. He's been hurt. Leaf has a vague idea, but look at the commitment from G2 to re-clearing out in kitchen. Player right down below him, and well, I mean, something is just playing an unhinged style here. He gets shot in the back, but it's just a tickle, and that actually spurs him forward to look for another fight. Jonah P. all around B while the A site's taken.
They're so focused on him. They're so focused looking at him that in the meantime, they've just walked into the side and plugged into the spot. Like, you can't blame them. When a guy is running around like a lunatic,
भाई ये something आज कितना लर्क करेगा भाई समझ ही नहीं आ रहा मेरे को.
There was a pixel there that maybe he could find something. Even
नहीं ये आवाज कर दी गधे
you
ने.
should know that he's still here, but it seems like they're just
कोई सुनाई
relying
नहीं
on
दिया
this
हमको.
wall, the turret. Is he going to get past it? He is. He's
अरे
past
बाहर
it.
टाइपिंग.
And now just going in behind them. Only the one so far.
Nice
but they
lurk.
have to deal
भाई
with
मैं
this
मूतने
for
का
the
गया
था.
round. Has been about
भाई ये तो
dealing with
जीतने लग गए.
They haven't even seen anyone
अरे
else.
मत बोलो यार गधे हो गए यार आप.
Sure, but the guy's still behind them, spraying away.
बोलो
Now
मत ना
the
जीतने
fight
लग
up in
गए.
front. Okay, something
Like
falls
कर दे.
substitute is divide, but Spike not even half just yet. The
मैंने
sprays are good.
सब्सक्राइब कराया तेरी आईडी से.
Another on a triple.
अरे भाई.
नाइस माइंड फ्री.
Eyes were on something,
कोल्ड भाई लड़का
but he's
कोल्ड है
free
ये.
to pulls
आग
off the
मूतता है ये.
magic.
भाई मैं वापस मूतने जाऊंगा और जीत जाएंगे
a
ये.
Red Bull clutch that was
नहीं नहीं
high
भैया
impact
बैठे रहो
for
हिलना ही नहीं है
sure.
तुमको.
But it's just, again, one of those rounds that you're going to look back on and go, well, they didn't forget about him, but it was like you forgot who he was, like what he was going to be doing. There was so many moments in that round where you just think, even though something, he doesn't get...
लाइक हो गए भाई. दूसरी स्ट्रीम में भी 4 और कर दो भाई. 10 हो जाएंगे. 4 और कर दो बस.
It almost just became panic stations for the rest of the team because they're so focused on killing one guy. And of course you are. It's the solo
Assistant
jet
coach.
running down mid.
Assistant
You're
coach
not
क्या?
going to expect him to be alone.
I haven't seen someone play like that in a long time outside of rank. Hello, early fight.
Nice one भाई. माइंड फ्रीक लॉक इन हो चुका है मैं बता रहा हूँ.
Underway. Turret's much more passive, so Leaf will get pretty close. Not close enough to actually
ना जीत
take
जाएगी
people down.
PRX.
He could. Oh, of course. Device
हाँ भाई
fell right
50
away.
खाने में तो
Yeah,
एक्सपर्ट है
he's able to
PRX.
make it
और
all
भाई
the way
नेक्स्ट
up,
टाइम गए.
making it into heaven, grabbing himself a weapon, and now
इनको पता भी नहीं है.
serious danger down below. He's
Oh
got
भाई.
अरे
something.
बारे.
This is right above. It's free for
अरे अरे
a phenomenal round, and he's looking for more. Mind Freak.
भाई ये
has to
क्या
do it
लर्क है?
again. This time a 4K against pistols, but he's 30 HP.
Oh, talk about.
और ये जिंग ने क्या रिवाइव किया, क्या बेट करने की कोशिश कर रहा था, पता ही नहीं, भगवान जाने.
So much space. Mind Freak might get an isolated 1v1, but now the
भाई
Sheriffs, well, we normally talk about hitting a headshot.
अबे यार.
They definitely don't need that. Body shot will do the job. He's trying to sell the idea that he's pushing into the A site, but that idea has not been sold whatsoever. And while Jonah is going to hit the headshot anyway, the MasterCard
भाई
3
किसने बोला था 58 थकती है ये हक दिया.
onto the board for G2, and well, it's a massive oversight for PRX.
Oh, huge. The fact that Devi's first to die is unfortunate, like you said, dropping the turret, his position, given a free weapon down below. The fact that the res goes in up top, just as something dies, they panic to try and cover Device so he doesn't die a second time.
भाई एस मारता
ये
लड़का.
वाला राउंड,
Flurry of frags over the lead. Now 15 and 11.
ये राउंड जीत जाते बढ़िया मजा आ जाते यार.
G2 have a lot of high value ultimates coming online. Same can be said for PRX here on the attack.
सारे अल्ट पॉइंट रेडी हैं इनके तो.
Everything's going to be decided 9 to 7. The gap either going to close or be extended massively by G2 here. Credits down to the last for PRX.
Yeah, it's done a lot of
इन्होंने अगर एक किल भी करे ना सबने तो इनकी अल्ट आ जाएगी.
अल्ट तो फिर ये तोड़ ही देंगे PRX का. अरे पिट डाल दे माइंड फ्रीक गधे.
By the time they get there, the post plant will be set. This time, turret should be
हार्बर
available.
साइड में यार
In fact, Forsaken is already watching, but he has Hunter's Fury.
भाई दो बंदे हैं पीछे. अरे
भाई
तीन बंदे थे.
क्या है, तीन दिख रहे हैं.
भाई मेरे को दो लगा था, दो है. अरे हार्बर अल्ट.
क्या सालों से फ्लैंक ही नहीं देखा जा रहा.
हार्बर अल्ट भाई.
3 versus 2, having to fight through the pit though could be the advantage they need. In goes the Thrash.
भाई दो अल्ट तो मार दी
अरे यार
उन्होंने.
डिटेन हो गया. डिटेन हो गया भाई पर.
He has to cover this man to keep the pit online.
Oh, nice.
Keep the chances.
अरे
अरे
He'll get
भाई.
nothing. Bar the one, G2 now double digits on the board. Pit invested for
That को बढ़िया.
and credits are going to be, well, out of reach for a full buy.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be an ideal scenario. Don't think
अरे
that's...
लंडन का रीजन है अमेरिका. दूसरी है.
Not sure it works like that.
That's how the finisher goes, but...
Oh yeah, no, beautiful retake, but also the read initially. Like the
भाई
flank
देख
being
सुन.
so fast that
strongest
although I
reason
was a
है.
little bit worried. This is the thing that's great about G2 is they're so methodical.
तो
They
है
put the
PRX
marketing through
G2 ने
and
मैच चालू होने से
there's a
पहले
gap.
क्या बोला था,
That gap
मतलब
is where
इंटरव्यू में
Forsaken's flash just around the corner,
कि
just around the corner.
PRX
हम
हमसे बड़े
चौक थे.
हाँ
अरे बड़े चौक हो.
Gaps left.
PRX हमसे बड़े चौकर
तो
हैं.
टांगे तोड़े.
Put them into a great position. Still though, Blade Storm, something mentioned it.
अरे तो भाई बी भी तो साइट है. कहाँ ए पे चल जाते हो अपनी गार्ड मार.
अभी खाली है भाई. अन्य तीन बंदे हैं भाई बी पे.
भाई फिर से फ्लैंक कर रहे हैं तीनों.
भाई तीनों छिना लिए हैं.
PRX are so fast. Usually that drone will slow you down a
साले
bit, but they
करेंगे
just
बच्चे.
sprint straight at it, taking
और ये
control
फंस
over the
गए.
site, and that gets the
बेटा ये
lockdown.
फंस
They
गए हैं ये.
shock darts to harass the planter.
केजे के
Back out of there.
में पीछे जाएंगे और पीछे
That
फ्लैंक
fight
आ ही
was
रहा है.
attempted for a moment. G2 though seem to have
नहीं
fallen
नहीं
back.
टैरेट है इस
Assuming
बार.
that the
केजे
lockdown's
जिंदा है
gonna
अभी
send them
तक.
in the other direction, but they might not know PRX. This is a team that isn't keen to give up on the A game. Still looking for, well, the A side.
भाई तीनों देख आ रहे हैं झूलते झूलते.
Starts to adjust again, clearing in middle, getting all the information.
प्लांट तो करा ही कहाँ है अभी तक.
It's going to be enabled and
अभी तक तो
something is desperately looking for someone to give him a fight.
ये something
because
window
the
देख लियो.
rivalry is such a huge disadvantage for the rest of the team.
नहीं
Dubai
फ्लैंक
at
नहीं कर रहे हो
least
यहाँ.
has a gun, but everything else,
अब ज़्यादा डेंजरस लग रहा है मुझे तो.
he just wants to try and get something out of
अरे
it
गया.
revealed, but does have support.
अरे अरे.
Flash sends all the support
अरे
backwards.
तो
James
यूटिल
Scott
देख
still
तो
blinded up. Hunter's Fury goes through though. Forsaken able
Wait,
to
4
break out
seconds.
of Icy. That gets the push out of Devi. Back and forth the kills go, but it's still G2 with the advantage. If they catch
Mind Freak
for
की
free, it
position
could be
very
something.
important.
But
Oh, nice one.
he's
अरे भाई 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 भाई.
gliding leaf down. The diffuse
अरे
already
अंदर अंदर.
halfway. He's sticking it.
अरे
all
बारे.
the way, and Forsaken had to
अल्ले.
ओ यार कैसे.
sliver of health gets it across the line
भाई.
with plenty of time left. It's 11 to 7.
अबे
The
भाई.
lead for G2 cemented, and they're in the home stretch now.
He's never going to get to use it.
यार ये राउंड निकल सकता था यार. अनलकी है एक तो.
भाई 4 सेकंड की अल्ट तो सही थी. वाइपर कैसे नहीं मरा उससे.
This must have been just the biggest jump scare ever. 20 HP. It wasn't far away for Forsaken as well. Alex, and he needs to breathe, needs to get the frustration out because he's about to talk to the boys. That's what he always says. He's like, I get the frustration out, then I talk to them in a calm manner. Well, they've lost 3 rounds in a row. They're 2 away from losing their own map choice.
Something washed. अब मैं दांत ही तोड़ दूँगा गधे के बच्चे. Something washed.
But they haven't been far away. It's just right at the
YouTube
last
पे
moment.
कौन है डार्को गेमिंग कौन आ गया अब ये?
आयरन का बंदा.
I think every ultimate that's been used by G2 has been
Something कोई washed बता रहा है गधे का.
So I just think they're utilizing what they have slightly better.
भाई लोटस पे मारेंगे देखना. लोटस पे मारेंगे.
I think IC has been incredible. Like his
यार ये आइस बॉक्स बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है ऐश बना ये समझ रहे हो क्या?
हाँ वो तो पता है भाई.
even just think about the beginning of the last.
लोटस तो उनका मैप पिक यार मैप पिक का एक क्या मेंटली अलग होता है
I
भाई.
expect to be looking at players like Valen coming in. Even Leaf, we've seen it in his heyday, but Icy really impressed me in that first half as well. He was putting up numbers, winning out his fights, his supportive utilities being up there as well. And on the side of PRX, like you say, they've been close, and that's the most frustrating part about it. Having it within your grasp and then feeling it slip away with a 4-round gap. It's now or never. They've got to step it up. And no ultimates online. A res and a lockdown just one away, but G2 come in with the advantage. They have not only the
आएगा comeback जैसे कांग्रेस का आया था.
Those ultimates be finding impact.
ये तो अच्छा था यार.
I think most of, if not all, their ultimates have been super high impact whenever they've put them into play.
7 लाइक हो गए भाई 3 लाइक और चाहिए.
I'm gonna see that Viper's pit. Try and funnel them in a
तू भाई टोक भाई. तू मेरे भी टोक लगा देता है गेम के अंदर.
तू ही है जो गोल्ड नहीं पहुंचने दे रहा था मुझे इतने दिनों से.
तू ही है भाई जो मेरे किल नहीं होने देता.
Especially with the position that Jonah P is playing.
I also love the super deep alarm bot that they put in. The shock darts went through to try and deny that utility, assuming that you would be playing that little bit more passive. That it'd be around the choke point, but instead it's further up, just covering
ये वाला राउंड निकालो यार.
Jonah
कम
P's
से कम
left side. If you think about it,
भाई ओटी तो ले जाओ यार. इतना तो करोगे हम भगवान के वास्ते हराम
it's
जाता
going
हूं.
to leave it in a very
सही बात
favorable
है.
fight either way. And if someone touches the alarm bot, Nano goes up, and Jonah can just fall back a little bit and play more passive.
नहीं लोटस नहीं आ
So
रही.
they're doing exactly what G2 want them to do.
Yeah.
Like they're fighting for mid
अरे
control just to make
लोटस
sure they
आ
can't
सकती
split
है.
back towards the B site.
लोटस भी तो वैसा सा मैप है ना यार. पलटू मैप है भाई.
लोटस नहीं आ सकते यार. लोटस से बहुत अच्छा खेलते हैं यार ये लोग.
PRX are doing what they want, but it's whether or not, as always, this team can make it work anyway. It's going to be something looking for those aggressive fights. But I feel like G2
अभी तो वो देख DRX के साथ जब इनका लोटस हुआ था भाई इनके हर बंदा एस कर रहा था.
And already there's the man advantage.
Almost extended on. That shot just swinging through players, but with Mind Freak down, yeah. Flank is now wide open. PRX don't have any ground to fall back to. They have to fight forward. That's exactly what they're going to try to do. Something in Forsaken, the sprays, just avoid it. Then G2 go on the push. Forsaken good for one, but Device fallen. The trades are there. Forsaken keeping it alive on the site, but he can't do much from that corner. And the spray, close as it was to a collat, it won't get it done. 12 rounds on the board for G2. 5 chances to close this one out. Lotus up next and Bind if they need to go all the way. That's a really good safety net for them.
Yeah, but again, you're going into your map choice, and with the preparation that's clearly there for G2. As said, this round, it looks like they orchestrated it. It literally looked like they handed them a script and said, this is what you're going to do, and PRX went, yeah, all right.
But he even fired a shock dart for default, immediately popped the ult, and then fired it through so it covers as they run away from the shock.
This went already. हाँ भाई करता हूँ. मेरे मैं ही तो हूँ CEO PRX का.
And that was all really the goal was. Get an opener, play the retake. They've had such stellar retakes and post plans. 3 retakes in a row now for G2, and they haven't, other than the one with the classic.
अबे हर international में आती है लड़क.
They haven't had too many problems. There we go though. The battle for B. I think the expectation was after the A hits.
But Jen से तो अलग हो रही है भाई
back
वो.
in this direction. Valen
सामने वाला.
a great spot. If not cleared, he's not been cleared.
अरे corner check कर लो यार.
Now he gets to just pounce on the remaining players. Even still, PRX
corner ही check नहीं हो रहे क्या यार इनसे.
puts it in their favor.
Yeah, I like the Valen's just falling back, giving up that space. He'll use his wall to hopefully slow them down. Time won't be bought for the flank. Leaf still alive. The Device still alive, pardon. You got the turret up.
भाई चेजे कहाँ आ गया भाई?
Giving away that information soon. Lockdown in play. Gets them the space on the site. Advantage there. Damage done to Valen. This seems to certainly be a favored round for PRX. Perhaps the start of the comeback. Shock dart's good for some damage. Few of these players now.
फिर लड़कर आ गया. अब इसकी तो टांगे तोड़ दो. अरे nice. अरे डिवाइस भाई क्या गंदा गंदी चाल है वो.
Jung gonna heal himself back up and leaves just a couple standing. Balin trying to get him in, but they put him into a tunnel.
Nice swing, nice swing, guys. Very good, very good. भाई close लाओ, कोटे तो मुंह में लाओ उनके at least.
4 in a row. It's doable. We saw G2 close out the half in just the same fashion. They can hit their stride. But for G2, the other thing is, you take a look at those credits. They're starting to run a little dry. This squad does have Reckoning to work with. No other ultimates close to being online. It looks like a light buy based around the Outlaw. Big fan of this kind of setup.
ये गलीज
Question is where it's
कुत्ता.
going to be used. And for Leaf, seems to be a middle peak. He'll have his turret covering it.
मेरे को पता पड़ा
And they are
कि
moving towards it.
नेपाल में जब ब्रोथल होता है ना
That
बहुत
Outlaw
सस्ता
can
होता है.
have the impact. We hear the shots fire, but they
यहाँ
don't
पे?
find their mark.
300 रुपए.
Nope, not going to be anything. And it's the same
क्या
again.
बात कर रहे हो आप?
Okay,
वो-
nice job.
एकदम बढ़िया.
Someone's been doing their
First
aim
first
training.
try.
ये क्या shot है?
First try.
Oh, no.
Trade's not looking
अरे
good. Oh, no,
यार,
First chance.
This would be the
Chill
worst
पे.
way to let a map slip
समझ ही
away.
नहीं आ रहा
Thanks
किसकी
to
मेरे
support
दोस्त ने
करूं.
बताया था.
ब्रोथल का वाला
He's just
PRX.
clear. Is he just
ये मेरे
fat
दोस्त-
fingered
He's
a-
misclicked and he meant to draw.
Oh, that's just...
Chill पे.
Oh, he's got
अरे
it.
देखिए उनको.
No assist.
Just comes out with 3 in a second.
Mind free भाई ये है लड़का तो cold.
No,
Maybe in the
that's
most
just-
uncharacteristic way. They might take it anyway. Flank
ये
coming in.
4
That's
seconds
the
पे
major
मतलब.
danger. And now it's left
हाँ
all up
पारी.
to
भाई ये क्या दिया भाई?
It's not been a great round. And now he's under real pressure. The spike
अरे अरे अरे
takes
अरे
some
अरे.
serious damage. And he's, well, I think he's
Hard
just
left.
got lost in the sauce.
Chill,
Leaf is going to be there to
bhai.
close out the round.
Chill.
Around the PRX are definitely going to want to forget.
भाई तो
Yeah,
लोग
I think that's gonna be a hard
PRX
one
के
to
लिए बोला
forget.
था ना.
We'll be talking about that for a while. And MasterCard Thrifty closing out the map 13-8. And G2, they look very strong. That was PRX's map pick.
Yeah,
They had
2-1,
them
2-1.
outclassed, outthought every step of the way. Now we look forward to Lotus, forward to Bind, and think, will they have a chance? Well, we're going to find out after the break.
After the break.
भाई बाट ही हार गए रे यार.
भाई पेन इज माय सुपर पावर भाई.
हाँ.
भाई यार ये मॉनिटर बढ़िया लगा यार मेरे को.
कौन सा?
जो ऐड आ रहा है ना इसका मॉनिटर का.
ये तो ऐड तो है ही.
वो एक सेकेंडरी मॉनिटर चाहिए भी.
अरे अरे यार, ये कहाँ अमीर लोगों से दोस्ती करवा रहा था मेरी. कौन से अमीर लोग हैं सेकंड मॉनिटर के सोच रहे हैं.
Hey guys, I'm here right now with Josh, coach of G2. Now, it's been a while since this Masters Shanghai rematch. There's been a VCT stage in the middle. So what is different about PRX this time around?
I think fundamentally, they got a lot better in the discipline department. I feel like they were a little bit sloppy when we first played them, and we abused that fact. Now I can see a lot more coordinated play. I can see the logic in their how they're like moving us around. So we were expecting a tougher PRX, and we got it right. And like sure enough, like we've been working on our icebox. So like yeah, the score was as such, but I thought it was a much better PRX.
Well, that score definitely, that map went to you guys. So we're going to see if G2 can manage to close out Lotus as well.
All right, welcome back, everyone. And Kilios is in his feels right now. He's just having a day, aren't you, there, buddy? You want to talk about it? You want to discuss things?
Woo! What a roller coaster of a game. So jazzed up, so entertaining, so exciting.
Yeah, man.
You're scaring me,
so damn
Seth.
frustrating at the same time.
Hey, look, I mean, we knew that this was going to be a tough game,
अरे
for both teams,
कुछ
right?
बोल रहे
And
नहीं हो
you
तुम
heard
लोग.
even Coach Josh RT saying how, he
मैं
knew
तो बाहर
that they
गया
were
था,
prepped,
पानी
they
नहीं
were
पी
ready
गया.
to go. But
गेम में
man,
गेम
that
में हो क्या?
coordination, Mimi, is just been so
नहीं
freaking good from them.
Yeah, they look incredibly clean with this Harbor comp. But I think on the attack side, obviously, we know it's really good for executes, putting up that wall, fighting deep. But I really like some of the walls Valen was even using.
ये देखो ये something का कभी-कभी है ना ये ऑफ मुझे पसंद नहीं आता यार, ये मतलब थोड़ी वैल्यू भी गिरा देता है यार गेम.
Then they switch on over to the defensive side, and I think it was just as good with some fantastic retake protocols. It is clear what Josh is saying about putting in the work on this map because they look clean.
8 में से 10 पोस्ट प्लांट जीते G2 ने बताओ.
Very impressive on that Harbor there. Just again, this G2 lineup, man.
भाई बढ़ता मैं सही बात है यार, कुछ तो मकसद होगा.
Maybe they're going to be a little bit weaker. Maybe they're not going to be playing up to the caliber that we would expect them to. But then they shut up all the doubters every single time, and it's so freaking cool to see them do this.
Yeah, I mean, this could just be, I think this is going to be the proving grounds for it, but just prove to be one of those teams that just gets to an international and then just locks in. Says, okay, right, now we're in this mindset, now we're in this grind set, and we're just going to go ahead and just run away with this tournament.
For sure, and for all the credit Josh is giving for PRX to make some improvements, I think we did still see some fundamental errors in that game. Players going off. I think Jin had a couple rounds where he was kind of taking some individual swings, taking some liberties, and I think G2 is always going to be good to punish that. And those small mistakes will really snowball in a match that should be as close as this one.
Yeah, well, look, while the day may not have belonged for at least for map 1 for PRX, so they do get the Verizon high speed in round 15. Mind Freak again, every single time we get an opportunity to see this guy do his thing, always impressive.
And I mean, it wasn't just Mind Freak in this round, it was this like crazy disruptive idea with something like solo faking in mid-set.
Yeah, get an opportunity to see this guy do his thing, always impressive.
मुझे तो वो पसंद है spicy you.
There's some good ideas. I think you can see some of those improvements coming through.
अरे spicy you को नहीं जानते क्या आप?
Getting ready to come in, something able to just go ahead and skirt around that turret, be able
to
to dodge
that out.
And then somehow it's like, okay, we think that we're protected, we think that we're safe. He strikes, he can't quite find that second kill as instantly.
दिखा दो तो यार.
दिखा दो तो क्या हुआ? Valorant की community तो promote कर रहे हैं अपन.
Spicy you देखना अपन कौन है मैं.
Box of Mind Freak being that stone cold killer, being that clutch machine. We saw him just trying to hang on. I mean, even was, trying to bail them out and keep them afloat in this one. Sure. This was a very good game.
So यार तुम image भेज सकते हो Instagram पे, लेकिन तुम हो ही गली आदमी.
Being shown here that just ended up unraveling things for PRX.
In that round, though, I think we saw the biggest difference from the G2 that played today and that
अरे तो कितनी देर में चालू करेंगे मैच? यान क्यों चोद रहे हैं?
The round state kind of exploded there. I mean, something broke the turret. He was running around in mid. He was causing so much disruption.
पता मैं नहीं है यार,
really
क्यों
good
नहीं है
ideas
यार.
to deal with it. They cleared their space in mid. They still set up for a clean retake, and they did end up losing to the clutch. But I think they've gotten so much better.
Analysis देखता कौन है?
Dealing with those unexpected round states.
एनएल करती नहीं है, झूठ बोल रहा है.
Which is, in my opinion, the most important thing when you're playing against PRX.
Oh, couldn't agree more on that one. All right, well, things are interesting in the PRX camp right now, so let's go ahead and hear from Coach Alex what he has to say as they get ready for match.
मुझे तो ऑफर भी नहीं दिया था एनएल का.
I'm here right now with Alex of PRX. Alex, that was a really frustrating first match.
तो स्ट्रीम वैसे भी कॉपीराइट के बहुत करीब है, तुम पूरा ही मारना है अपन को.
Yeah, we had a game plan going in, but we didn't really focus on our attack side, so it's a little bit disappointing. I hope that on game 2
Alex तो खत्म इंसान है.
I think
यार 2-0 हो गई ना, तो मेरा तो मन उड़ जाएगा. मैं तो लेगेटन को कर रहा हूँ सेकंड सपोर्ट में.
भाई फैनेटिक.
फैनेटिक में एक दिक्कत है यार, वो डर के मुझे पसंद नहीं है.
मैं बढ़िया तो खेलता है. टकला वैनकलन.
शक्ल अच्छी नहीं है भी यार.
अच्छा. भाई क्रॉनिकल, हीरो, अल्फाजर, लियो क्या बढ़िया खेलते हैं भाई ये.
I'm curious to see what we're going to get really from both squads.
दिखने की बात नहीं कर रहे, अभी खेलने की बात कर रहे थे.
I'm curious if there's any pivots in the composition for the side of PRX. I think that widely their Lotus has looked very good.
भाई क्रॉनिकल बहुत बढ़िया खेलता है यार.
G2 over in Shanghai. This was that first map pickup for the side of G2. That was when that download really started to come.
अरे तो तुम मेरे को बताना ओए, फोटो भेजना स्पाइसी यूकी.
Something different to throw at them, a bit of a curveball, change that composition, maybe reintroducing
यार तू
something
इंस्टाग्राम नहीं भेज
like,
सकता मतलब है.
into the mix here. Or if it is just going to be straight up,
अभी तो लाइव था तू.
As well as Raze there for Jing.
Yeah, for context, when we've seen this PRX team play on Lotus before, they're playing no Sentinel on this map, a double duelist comp.
अरे ये क्या है? ये तो है यार.
In the mix, which is extremely unusual here, especially when you contrast them.
यार चीज
who
मैं भी दे देता हूँ यार.
Tribute. But I think plays it really well. They're the best defensive team.
Hey, but I look like a Pepe.
And I think that's really where they shine here. They're in particular,
ट्रिब्यूट तो
and
मेरा
how
ही
they're
बनता
able
है
to kind of
हैं
adapt
जाके
this
दब
when
दब
they're
दब
going
दब
for the more aggressive forward plays and when
इतना
they're
तो करना
falling back,
पड़ेगा.
playing a little bit more passive into those retakes.
I appreciate you pointing that out because genuinely that Neon is not something that we've seen too much from the side of Jing, but that has been what he's been bringing to the table on Lotus as of late. So curious to see if
मुट्ठी सपोर्ट भाई PRX को देता हूँ मैं मेरा मुट्ठी सपोर्ट.
Shall we? We're going to send it back over to your casters. Here's Mitch and Tom.
Thank you so much, Golden Boy, and our analyst desk. Yes, Tom, coming into this, Jing, right? He had an okay first map, but now we're going to look at him as having a fantastic one, assuming he's still playing that Neon.
कितने लोग स्ट्रीम कर रहे हैं यार मेरे अकाउंट के ऊपर यार ये मतलब ये पूछ अभी VCT स्ट्रीम कर रहा है.
I don't know if that will become the regular, but DRX, yeah, they're okay. They're kind of good at the map, but yeah, I think ultimately I'd be very surprised if either team makes mass changes. Like I think it was a close defeat recently to Leviathan for G2 and a 3-map win streak for the side of PRX. So I don't think I would be very surprised if they were going to go, okay, we need to completely revolutionize everything we're doing within the composition. But ultimately, it's more so just some of the stuff we saw in the last map that I'm a little bit more worried about. Like, there are opportunities for the likes of Leaf to get into really awkward positions, as it was mentioned on the desk. They don't have themselves a sentinel in the comp that they normally run. So there's going to be a lot of potential gaps to exploit. Last time they did sentinel that happened, so it really does worry me, especially on a map like Lotus, where there's a lot more avenues that you can sort of take that control, where you can be aggressive, take space, or even just wait to rotate. And if those gaps are left, it could be very problematic. The only thing I will say is that when you're running a
racist, cancel करो इसको,
way you're doing it. So I guess the main thing with them is, okay, do you cancel to make sure that that isn't going to be a problem for you, or are you going to be so heavy hitting into those sites that it almost doesn't matter, like you've done it too quick.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the reality I expect for PRX. Then on the other hand, just looking at the last map,
मैं पढ़ता हूँ भाई, मैं गालियाँ बकूंगा फिर एक
the fact that in the second half, Leaf
क्योंकि मेरा क्या ही
so many times and caused
मेरा क्या ही उखाड़ लेंगे ये यार. हिमांशु अपना वाला हिमांशु तो नहीं है ना.
Thinking about the fact that PRX, we just heard from Alex down the stage. He said they weren't following their game plan.
Aspas taking it start already.
You don't want to see that. And now
Darko, who is the third guy? Your father.
Somewhere that, yeah, they're not uncomfortable on. We've seen them do well.
थर्ड गाय भाई आपको बताया नहीं क्या स्पेशल अपीयरेंस है आज का? अजमल भाई आया हमारे साथ.
Yeah, no, I'm sure.
The original ISO main. The OG.
और क्या? ISO का कैरेक्टर बाद में बनाई, उससे पहले से खेलते थे.
हाँ. भाई मैं बफ से पहले ISO खेलता था, बफ से पहले.
और बताओ लो. देखा कोई इस लेवल का?
ये लोग तो अब आए हैं ISO पर. मैं पहले से ISO खेलता था. मेरे को यकीन था उसकी अल्टीमेट पर कि एक किल तो लेके जाऊंगा.
Less reactive, and you're not going to be able to play with rotations anywhere near as much other than Jing.
गेट बंद करके आता हूँ.
Running it down, but as you can see, they've got the decent win percentage on this one over the last stage. So I
spicy होने दिखानी चाहिए थी इसको.
And clearly they've come in with a game plan, knowing what they want to do, confident in their own map choice. It's still a very good map for PRX. I don't think they're going to be too worried going into this one.
Yeah, one of the criticisms you heard, I think it was Mimi on the desk, who was saying that Jing was taking a couple of fights on his own, a couple of individual duels. And sure, a lot of the time, especially in the first half, he had something with him. There was always that duo system. You're not going to see that most likely this time around because this whole composition is made.
कुछ बोलो तो सही. CJ भाई तो कुछ बोलते नहीं. अरे हेलो लेजेंड भाई कैसे हो? क्या बोलेंगे? PRX हार जो रही है. यार ये क्या मतलब?
क्या हो गया?
अरे आप देखो ना, डिस्कॉर्ड नहीं देख रहे क्या आप?
डिस्कॉर्ड देख ही रहा हूँ मैं, बस थोड़ा गेट बंद करने गया था.
तो स्पाइसी दिखाई, गलती कर दी क्या?
अरे यार शिट यार. अरे वो तो कर लिया भाई उसका तो मैंने. दब
ये लेजेंड अपना वाला है क्या भाई?
I am legend.
I'm Fury.
Squad
ये बता. अरे हेलो भाई, कैसे हो भाई? बढ़िया.
अरे मेरे को लगा ये
वैलोरेंट.
भाई PRX तो हारेगी भाई, मुझे ही पता है वो तो.
भाई इसको देखना, ये पढ़ा ना, कुछ बोलो जो सही. सीजे भाई तो कुछ बोलते ही नहीं है. क्या बोलेंगे? PRX हार जो रही है, मतलब हद ही है. चलो भाई चलो. लोटस पे भाई एशवन भाई फुल सपोर्ट चाहिए मुझे आपका. इधर उधर नहीं हो जाना कहीं.
I'm ready to get into this one. I think especially for PRX after having that map sort of slip away from them, starting on the attack is going to be good. Like having the ability to set the pace.
Pain is my superpower.
For now, though, it's more of a spot. Jonah P's just looking for information, but he's taken the head clean off.
क्या है ये कुछ भी दे देते हैं क्या नूबड़े अरे तुक्केबाज भाई पिस्टल नहीं जीत पाते यही है दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी दिक्कत
Losing out on that fade utility hasn't stopped them putting boots on the ground, but the retake from G2 quite quick. Paranoia is absolutely perfect. Still gets away with one, and the nade is slowing them down. Nice disruption from PRX to start this.
Nice one. यार ये लड़का मुझे कभी पसंद ही नहीं है यार
कौन सा भाई जोनापी वापस से फ्लैंक कर आया है क्या
और फिर हार गए 7 एचपी
अरे जोनापी फ्लैंक कर आया है क्या वापस से
नहीं
precision.
भाई मैं
भाई 3 के ले गए शरीफ से यार
थक्का वो सड़ी का
Jonah P more so in their ability to
सारा
get
मोटू
behind you and find those free kills when you ain't looking, but seems Jonah P's
भाई 4 सेकंड भी देता है निकालने भाई बेंच शॉट
follow-ups are absolutely clinical. Even grabbing another to make it doable for Leaf in the end.
Mother shot.
Close enough.
It's literally only because Leaf has shields. That's the difference maker. It's unfortunate because yeah, a hero.
ओ सब प्रथम बोला भाई आज तो बैट हो गया भाई मैं
आज तो बस 394 सब हो गए भाई 6 और करवा दो यार
Guns to play with, looking for those SMGs and well already speak about the pistols with the
again lost pistol
He's doubled up, still has a prowler to work with. Icy needs to keep control over heaven. He's under pressure. Something
नहीं कर रहे हैं लड़के कुछ तो कर रहे हैं लड़के भाई
अरे कुछ नहीं कर रहे यार कुछ नहीं कर रहे साला हर बार कोई आता है 3 के 4 के
भाई मेरे को लगा यार कुछ कर रहे थे यार 2 मिनट के लिए मैं तो ब्रॉन्ज हूँ लेकिन ये तो प्रो है ना भाई मैं ब्रॉन्ज हूँ तो क्या हुआ
everything they could ever need. Like there won't be maybe light shields or something like you might normally see, but it also gives another round for economy to be built up. So you can see a slightly better buy than what they had in the last round for G2. I guess there's also just the process of
कल भाई वाइटैलिटी को हरा दिया टी
हां यार भाई मैं नहीं मान सकता भाई ट्रेस ई स्पोर्ट्स ने कैसे हरा दिया
that Marshall
a nice shot to or something.
You know, even though things haven't been going their way, PRX are not going to lose their mojo. Still coming in. An opening pick towards the A site.
देखो पता है ये पहले के डब्ल्यू गेमिंग करते थे ना तो ये आधी टीमों को तो हरा ही देते थे आधी से हार जाते अरे बारे हाँ यार बता रहे 3 के 4 के हो गया क्या हो गया ये वाली मार्शल की स्किन ही मनों से घटी
कौन सी स्किन है
सो कौन सी है इसका नाम
सोवरिन
Not really any need to. Icy already reclaiming a little bit of ground. Something does have the gun, but he's desperately low on health.
You're dead.
Actually, it's Divide to go down behind him. That is...
Sees nade.
Yeah, troublesome position now. Something needing...
Oh, maybe
one of the craziest plays with how low he is. Having the rifle's not even that much of a hit because a single bullet will leave him.
Recon Phantom hai.
Well, Mindfreak's done well. That's at least a first.
Still hinging on something, and especially with Mindfreak going down.
Once
he finds the first, that's where they should stop. They haven't cleared him just yet, but well, now he's been seen. Taken down, and the upgrades just fine. G2, 3 players surviving.
फोर्स बाय करके जबरदस्ती बोनस भी जीत गए यार वो क्या है
भाई बस हो गया भाई मेरा आज का
मेरा भी हो गया भाई नहीं जीत रहे यार लोटस तो हाँ जीतने अरे वो फोर्स बाय करके बोनस भी तो फिटवा दिया ना पर एक ना बुलडॉग ऐसे कब से चलने लगी भाई
मेरी तो नहीं चलती
मेरी कि मैं तो
and you got a 3-0 start, so it really does just put them on the back foot almost immediately. I think if PRX don't find a response here, this could very quickly.
Alex से गान फट रही है।
हाँ सही बोल रहे हो।
I liked his bulldog. Let's see how much I like his Odin. Sat inside of trees.
फैन के लिए अब तो सिखाएगा मेरे को, अब तो सिखाएगा।
and slow down the rest of the
इतनी
squad.
टेबलें तोड़ दी मैंने, इतनी भी तो बैठा नहीं होती तो तोड़ चुका हूँ।
Players can do. It's just getting all the walls lit up, turning them
ये
into
किसने
Swiss
TP
cheese,
किया है?
but
माइंड
PRX
फ्रीक
have
में
waited
या
out the
वैलन में?
spams.
They're going to fall back off it. Maybe just wanting to set up Mind Freak, but no. It's in fact just a ruse. No aggression on the other side. They've also baited out that they could have taken some tree control, and they are just going to full sprint their way towards the other side of the map. Now, it has been spotted. The deep turret gives Leaf the information, and they do have Nightfall to play with, so that's the other thing. It's possible that they're just going to look to play this as a retake, but instead, especially after the utility goes down, just going to fall back. I say that, still within the site. It's danger, man, Jonah P.
Yeah, sat in the smoke, waiting for it to fade. It's going to be a duel between himself and Jing, and it's Jonah P to win it, and double up! Devi's gone too! That should have been the trade, and instead, Forsaken as an impossible task. 4 players coming his way, and Nade used alongside a reveal. They know roughly where he is, and now the rest of the util comes in. The C's saved until they had the information. That's an absolutely gorgeous play. And a solid economy farming round for G2. 4-0 up. 4 players alive. Those points were sky high.
भाई broke है भाई, ये लोग broke.
It really was. And again, you said it, the way that they saved a lot of their utility, like what they did there was put the snake bite on the left, so if he does manage to dodge the C's, he's getting vulnerable and then the player swings, or he gets hit by the C's and he has basically, I think it was 30 HP to try and fight versus the entirety of the team. They're so good at just putting their utility into the right place, playing really safe, because we've seen so many teams lose crazy rounds to Forsaken. You've got to give the man his respect.
And one of the things that often slows down those rotations is what PRX attempted. They moved quickly towards A, slowed down with the spams, waited, and then went up and opened the door. Like you said, they feigned that they could have been in tree. But then once the door was closed, they just put a Prowler in on G2 and went, oh, no one's there. Yep. I think they might be going somewhere else. And at that point, Jonah P gets into position. He's ready for that hit, and he does not leave. The man plants his feet in the ground and says, I'm standing here. Takes down Arlong Park. 4-0 for G2, and a timeout for PRX. They're already feeling the heat.
Yeah, understandably so. Like, you've lost your own map choice. Again, I think through fantastic retakes and adaptation from the side of G2 to deal with what was hyper-aggressive, fast-paced rounds. And now it looks like G2 have come into this one, knowing what they're coming up against. I don't think anybody expected PRX to swap their comp on this one. And they look very comfortable. Like, again, like you're seeing, whether it's the early rounds where they just seem to be so good at grouping up for the late round retakes and playing as a squad, or even just in that round where you had a surprise player that actually caught PRX off guard, which was the whole idea when we talk about PRX potentially winning this one, is can you beat them with the pacing? And as Mimi said on the desk, she thinks it's a great matchup for G2. Right now it is looking that way. There needs to be some sort of response. And while, with how many rounds they've lost in a row, the loss bonus is there, Bladestorm available for something. Let's hope this is the start of something.
Trent opening the door? He's trying to spot how many players are outside. And now he hears the steps up close, so a little bit late. But that could have been something. Still something to be afraid of on the side of PRX. You can see them take Odin They've heard the reload. They know there's another wave of spams about to go, and they think they've bypassed it, but there's still someone covering it on the walkthrough. They've seen that one man of something is already crossed. Nightfall to be used, but something's around the back. He's gotten closer than expected. Icy covering it from up top, though. Now they maintain their control, slow the push from PRX, send them in the other direction, but Jonah P waiting as usual on a sliver of a lane. Pulls up. Devi, the last man standing. Another unbelievable round from G2. They barely break a sweat unless Devi can turn up the heat, and he doesn't know that there's a player sneaking right around behind him.
They've got the spike as well. It was irrelevant whether or not he managed to win the battle over on the A site with the spike being down on B, but yeah, Jonah P today, it's just having one hell of a performance. We saw, like, he was pretty good in the last map, but this has been ridiculous. Like, being able to re-isolate each one of those jewels, it's just solid positioning. Dodges repeats back into the second player and then just tries to catch a time. Like, he knows if he just allows him to swing, he's definitely dead. Yeah. But that's got, it's got to be infuriating.
It's even the fact that he pulls back around the corner for a second. These players hit by Nightfall, running the other direction. They're thinking he's going to jump on the box. He's low HP. No, he just swings them again and again. gorgeous play. And 5-0 for a reason. G2 are looking unbelievable. PRX struggling to get even a round on the board just yet. A rifle for something and pistols to back them up. This is the kind of round where they have so far done the most damage. We'll see if that carries through and converts to a round win.
I think the Nightfall overdrive, it's a pretty nasty combo.
Yep.
But then again, look at the position that Trent is playing in. Like, just consider that right now. He is literally just playing full retake. They've got the Viper's Pit down on one side. They know that in these moments, there you go. They've expected the Nightfall. As said, sometimes it really does look like PRX are just reading from the hymn sheet of the opponents because they've used their ult. It's not really gained anything, and G2 are very happy to play the retake.
Yep. They were ready for this from the get-go. One flank position from Forsaken, though, that could catch them off guard. Look at that. He's got a nasty angle. He hears the steps, and Jonah P, a taste of his own medicine. Dropped from behind. A rifle to be recovered. PRX with a stance to fight from. Jing's caught off. The finger gun's not doing the damage. They'll concede the space, let them down the stairs, and fight them on the site, but Leaf wins that one too. Now looking for control over Tree. They'll find it for free. It's Maine. They've got to fight, and the swing is good with Leaf getting his third of the round. It's another successful defensive side already guaranteed to be equal at the half, and I don't think G2 are going to slow down.
It's just how confident they're playing. As said, like, to just completely give up the site to PRX, have that much faith in your ability to retake, but you kind of understand why. Like, look, well, 4 of the 6 rounds they have on the board are off the back of retakes. Maybe some less so than others in how the rounds were actually played out, but it wasn't even that close in the end with how much time they actually allowed them to set up. I think, what, like 2.5 seconds?
नहीं भाई इतना बुरा नहीं भाई.
They are looking super comfortable. Again, we're going to see an investment, but using that Nightfall in the last round to very little effect. It was more the lack of information.
भाई तो विश्वास उड़ जाएगा भाई मेरा तो.
Operator in for something is an attempt at a change.
The thing is, though, that it's not like there's been big peaks coming out of G2. They're very happy to sit back and let PRX push into them. Lockdown in play. Jonah P. Again, the positioning was perfect, but he positioned himself right in front of Devi's spray.
Again, good isolation of the jaw, but at least PRX have managed to keep this one even. One of the better opportunities they've had. Now, it's going to split the defense quite a bit more. Showstopper is available for Icy. So again, if they wanted to, they could lean further into these retakes, but you can see Valen is just going to be jump spotting.
भाई momentum की बात है देख भाई साहब.
Which he should get now.
अब भाई
and I think that
भाई उनकी गांड में दम है पीक करने का. मतलब पहले गांड फटी रहती थी PRX से.
Where Trent's playing.
If Leaf swings this and they get the kill, they will run back in the other direction. In fact, they're going to do it anyways. Something. Now moving through to re-clear this space. He hasn't gotten the peak he wanted. The patience of G2 is commendable, to say the least. This swing,
एक उठा लेगा वो. हाँ, उठा लिया.
But the trade attempt is there. Down to the shorty, closing the distance.
मैं shorty से नहीं मार पाएगा.
Upgraded to the rifle, downgrade. And Leaf doubles it up, keeps it doable for their side. And Trent, Mind Freak knows he's up close, but now the info goes both ways. The spray comes close. Mind Freak on the adjustment for the double. The first round for PRX at long last.
Yeah, I think again, a lot of it comes down to just being able to get into that site and find the opener. Like, something does well with the operator and then just playing off of that late round. And again, even just the trade out through the smoke was pretty big, because we've seen such high impact rounds from Jonah P. This will get them onto the board. It's just whether or not they can now try to extend things. Luckily, they do save that operator, so that's still going to be in play for this next round. And they have themselves the null command, which will have value in reducing Leaf setup. Instead, though, the defense have got aggressive on both sides of the map.
Usually talk about the push and the pull, but this was just the push. PRX found themselves the pick. It's being traded out on the other side. C-site left for a retake. Nano's broken already, one activated. We'll slow them down, section them off, but, actually, I love this. I adore this. A little bit of damage done. Jing and Forsaken now decently low, but the plant will come through. PRX have some ground to fight from.
Trent's trying to Sell the ruse.
Oh, here we
Nade
go.
one side. Ah, he's been denied. Well, denied the ult. Maybe not denied the kills. Icy still going strong. Sees to the backside. Let them know that there's at least was no one there. And the rest of the team just looking to push together. It's all going to be on to one. And while Devi, try as he might, won't manage to get anything.
Yeah, they might have hit him with the knife, but he stopped the show himself. Gorgeous stuff from Icy. Really impressed by him in this series so far. And by G2 in general. We expect this to be a close one on a surface level. There was always the chance of a mismatch of styles.
2-0 भाई, पर तुम तेरा prediction सही हो गया.
Earlier, Tom, on a downward trajectory in terms of international events. Last time they were at a champs, grand finals, top 2. Now they're being challenged in the first round. It's not a good look, but it's a fantastic look for G2 coming from the challengers section of Valorant. The heights they've reached already, unbelievable. They may just be about to 2-0 PRX, certainly if it keeps going this way.
Even bit back before they made it into the VCT, there was conversations about could this team just beat them anyway.
Yeah.
उसको अपने गेम में आना रे तू तो.
Answered fairly quick. PRX again down to a shoddy by 3 pistols, a couple of guardians. We haven't quite seen those same hero plays that we've wanted to at least. There was 1 or 2 on the previous map, but I guess Mindfreak's double is about the best we've had so far. He did get them their first round. Now an attempt to just walk through. Well, that's going to be real solid utility. Maybe not the gun for it, or maybe it is. Maybe I'm wrong.
Arre.
Somehow Chance made that work. Well, he's finally put down. Too little, too late.
भाई 3 मार दिया उसने.
Maybe don't count Devi out just yet. 45 seconds. He's got himself a rifle now. His HP quite low. The chance for a big play. PRX needs something. I think they'll take any chance they can get. But look at G2. We talk about the discipline. Good attempt by Devi. Baits out the first fight. Knows there'll be a swing back sight because they've played enough rounds against G2. This isn't a squad that's going to send individual after individual to fight you. They group up, they play it together, and their reward is an 8-1 lead. But this man felt my heart skip a beat.
It's the moment of realization. I think he sees the little bit of like smoke from the dash and goes, wait, what? Oh! Still manages to get the kill. Had a little bit of support from his friends. 8-1. Whether you were a G2 or PRX fan, I don't think you expected it to be this dominant. They have looked incredibly strong. As said, on the first map, PRX were in it at a point, and then the adaptations came in. At this point, it seems like G2 have been ready from the get-go.
We're adapting again, aggressive push-up on B. They hear that A main control, and they realize it's just going to be the same old playbook. They're taking control, taking tree, and fighting sight, and that early flank is catching them off. No one's ready for it. Look at Mindfreak, he's staring forward. Jing's just about spotted them. He will manage to at least do damage, making it doable for Mindfreak, who's grabbed the double. But again, the trades keep swinging in the other direction.
अरे भाई, भाई वो 3 ले गया.
I don't understand how he does it again and again. Devi now has it all to do. He's got the right gun for the job. Gonna try to brr them out of this one, but it's gonna be difficult. Nice lineup. Good spam, but they're going right back. They're playing the same game. Diffuse already past half, and it's too far gone. The spray might be good for 1.
He jumped across and killed him.
1's all they get. 9-1 on the board, Tom. This is a devastating start to map 2. And well, G2's map pick for a reason, I suppose.
Yeah, even still, like it's been a solid map for PRX. They're just getting shut down. As I said, last time they played Jing, I think it was 28-14. He's 2-10. Like, he's not been in the game at all. I don't remember saying his name once. Like, it really, and that never happens. That never happens. He's one of the best individually skilled players we have in Valorant, but right now it seems like individual skill doesn't matter. Whoever they face off against, they're getting destroyed. Like, this is a pure team performance. The reads are impeccable. Like, every time that Nightfall is online for Trent, he is out of the sight, and then he's going back in. And they are so happy to do that. We mentioned the flanks. I think this is the first time the flank has really been a big issue because they haven't needed to. They've had the read so often to get players in the right place, so they haven't needed to go around the flank. They throw it in here, and it does catch players. They also have fights from the broken door. Like, there's so much cohesion from this G2 roster, and that is the difference. Is it individual skill winning them all of these rounds? No. It is the cohesion between the players that they'll be supportive utility. Okay, Jonah P has won them a couple of rounds with straight BS.
Yep.
Like just
100%.
like unbelievable
100%. From
positioning and skill, but like other than that, they're just outclassing.
Oh, 100%.
भाई Jonah P के kill देखो.
At this point in time, people been telling me for a while, Americas is so far ahead of EMEA. This is their number 2. I mean, they're playing a damn clean game. I'm getting worried. I'm starting to sweat a little bit, and I don't think it's just the temperature.
Jing bhi bhai, Jing bhi.
Well, I'll also say, I feel like there's even an argument if they are the number 2 because of how close.
The final, right?
Yeah.
It was OTs and
13, 15, 14, 16. Then they won 13, 9 and lost it.
Yep.
This team is
number 2 in a technicality.
Yeah, and after their performance at the last international,
yep,
even less so. They have looked incredibly good.
But this is just every single round, man. It's just clean. The ideas, the executions. Nobody is greedy on this squad. Everyone's just playing it for the numbers to win the game, and that's all you can ask for.
अरे बहन चोद वो कैसे मार दिया?
Will be a trade, but he's taken a lot of damage. A more direct approach this time from PRX, but I'm going to sound like a broken record. These retakes have been stellar. Something's trying to get ahead of it. I really don't mind him pushing up, trying to fight more aggressively. They haven't been able to hold.
अरे बहन चोद Jonah P.
From Jonah P. He's left to fight this alone.
यार एक राउंड और आ गया.
A wide swing, but they'll peek it together. Forsaken puts the second round onto the board with 3 kills. At least something.
ऐसे ही बहन चोद घुस-घुस के मारो.
Now we're gonna definitely hope that the 9-3 exists still. That curse. Well, it used to be a big thing, and PRX gonna have to perform a ritual to bring it back. I'll need to find this round at least, and Tom,
maybe
so far,
Paper can do it. I've heard he's pretty good at rituals. I've seen him with the DRX jersey. He's not in the building, so he'll have to. I don't know. It means he can go out in the street and do it. In fact, that's what I want to see.
You want to see Paper Thin in the street doing a ritual?
Yes, that's what it is.
All right, we'll see if we can arrange that.
That's the content I desire.
All right, well, I think you might be the only one.
भाई वाइपर क्या?
Straight through it. There's no way. Jonah P's positioning has been unbelievable. Trent, I love you, man.
Okay, he got
gorgeous play. Yes, he did. But look at the position of Leaf at this point.
No, he's gonna get revealed.
Okay, he's revealed. He's revealed. He has to break it. Now they know. Now the flash goes through. Gorgeous. Flash. Okay, there's the reaction from PRX. And
भाई ये हुआ ना ये.
Now they're hitting their stride.
अरे
भाई. Be
भाई.
a little late in the half, but they've got the foundations laid. A pistol could bridge the gap, but they're gonna need it.
Yeah,
अब आ रहा है ना
finally
मजा.
saw some life in the squad, like reading what was going to be done by Jonah P. I think that's the first time that he's actually been caught, and then also Forsaken. Last couple of rounds, really stepping up to the plate. It's a mountain to climb, but luckily there's a second half after the break.
Red Bull gives you wings.
पूरा क्या लगता है जीत जाएगी? पिस्टल पर है सब कुछ. पिस्टल लूज करते तो 10 तो हो गई होगा, 11 भी होगा. भाई एक बंदे का ट्वीट देखा तूने अभी? PRX G2 is एक ट्वीट आया था. G2 is the team who play with discipline and PRX play with only W. Now you see who is winning.
Although PRX started to wake up towards the end of that last half, see if they can carry through that momentum here.
But they have to. Again, this is a group where there's a lot of threats. Like EDG and Foot is the game that's going to be played later on, and if this is the level that we're getting, okay, maybe it has been impressive level on the other side, but I do question whether or not we're going to sit there and go, can they beat either of the teams we'll see play later on?
Well, that's it. If they have a flat performance like this to start it out, but 2 rounds to close out the last half, it's a little injection of hope. The pistol round carries most of it on its back. If PaperX don't win this one, it was just too far out of reach on Icebox for PaperX to come back into. The challenge, not to lose 4 players to Jonah P's headshots.
You know what, he doesn't have a sheriff this time, so I'm not a believer.
Top 8 होगी, फिर 4 टीम हो रहेगी.
Yeah, see, it's not a sheriff. Not quite as controlled, aggressive.
4
on the defensive side. They've met them outside B and well.
The top 8 तो वैसे जाएगी.
Keeps things even, but neither team is shying away from this. They want to fight. Well, maybe I was wrong. Jonah P with a double. It's not going to be 4, you know.
भाई ये क्या मार रहा है? भाई ये क्या मार रहा है? भाई जोना भी.
Last man standing something.
भाई ये जोना भी क्या मार रहा है?
I believed in the post plants of G2 throughout the entirety of these series, and
तूने देखा अभी?
I don't think I'm gonna start to not believe now.
No, I don't really care what the number is for Jonah P. He needs a raise. He's putting in the goddamn work at this point. Trent with a Bulldog, Trent with an Odin, didn't matter. I'm becoming a fan of this team very quickly.
Are you just trying to get the whole team a raise? Is that the goal?
At this point, Tom, you disagree? It's been unbelievable, and although something grabs one, that is all she wrote.
The G2 manager's going, shut up, shut up.
10-3, double digits found in the first round of the second half. G2 certainly seemed to be in the home stretch. We saw a force buy from PaperX on their attack. It didn't work. I'm not sure that we'll see it here, but
if they do it on defense, then like you're not going to have that extra injection of having the plant. So it's not. And the last time out, it was 1 player standing and they got a plant. This time out, it wasn't even close. So you're basically just going to go in with sheriffs or stingers with no shields or light shields. It's just not worth it. So it is just going to have to be the hard eco. Jing, a solo sheriff. And although, yeah, if they do lose this round, it will be a massive jinx. The way that G2 have been playing, I would be gobsmacked if they lose this round.
Absolutely. They have been so disciplined. The teams that lose these rounds tend to be much more loosey-goosey, taking risks. Now you can see that on the side of PaperX, they're willing to group up and do a little exec play. All the util thrown outside of A at Rubble. All the dashes used, the space taken, and there's no one here. Now they've got to go to the other side of the map, which is wide open. Typically, you'll have your Sentinel on this side when you go for those big gamble plays, at least getting you the information early. PaperX will struggle with that, as they don't have one.
Already. Set up, watching for the door. Well, something. He's going to be met by Leaf. It's only a pistol player, so not the end of the world, but we'll garner him an extra orb at least. For the rest, yeah, they've dropped a couple of players. This really isn't bad.
Oh, yes,
Where did that come from? Again, Forsaken. Giving them at least a life. There's time for this. Like, they're going to have to move quickly, and they're desperately low. Valen, a safe pair of hands, but not this time.
Nice.
All right, then. Maybe the caster curse does exist, because somehow they managed to win that round.
Unbelievable. 42 HP between them as well. MasterCard Thrifty pulled out of absolutely nowhere. Typically when we see those, there's at least a small bit of investment, but this really came out of the blue. Double digits for G2, sure, but that lead not extended on, and now the economy in a tough spot. Hey, of all the ways to start this half out, this may well end up being one of the best for PaperX, surprisingly.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it as something you should attempt.
That's not a foolproof strategy, that's for sure.
It's funny as well because the time they invested in
the
force buy, it failed miserably. And the time they didn't, they win with 2 players standing. It's the most PaperX thing on the planet. And here goes Jing, continuing that train of thought. He's looking to battle and brawl, maybe get some confidence back. He's definitely had a bit of a rough map so far, but I don't think anyone's doubting
देख ये खुल रहे हैं थोड़े थोड़े, ये घुस के मार रहे हैं भाई, वो भाई 314 पर था वो।
Good space taken. Turret not watching this angle, and it's left open for a moment. He has the timing. He has it perfectly, and he's not greedy, just taking the one and backing off, holding the position now. Trent and Icy, the last two standing, and it looks like PRX have really found themselves a way back into this series, back into this map, more importantly. Fifth soon to come on the board with this firing squad waiting for them. And it's nice and easy, just leaving Trent, just a Sheriff, and if he wins this one, PRX may just walk off the stage. 10-5.
भाई ये फिनिशर मेरे को बहुत सही लगता है.
It's still a long road to go, and I think we know that getting back into the buy rounds is where the expectation changes. But I do think that just boost of confidence, like winning a round like that, gets everybody hyped up, pumping. Also just proves, you know, we can take these rounds away from them. We can still get away with the stuff that we've been attempting and that has failed. I think Forsaken, a lot of the time, puts the world on his back when things are going bad. We saw that in Madrid as well, one of the craziest shotgun plays, like, no, the craziest shotgun play I've ever seen. Question now is, how far does that go?
Forsaken certainly not afraid. And you mentioned about the confidence, it's a big factor. Something certainly has it. Already going up aggressive on A. He's got backup, Prowler coming around, spotting a player close left, and he decides to back off. Yeah, this is a wise choice, knowing there could be a swing coming out from both directions. Can't see someone like Jing slow it down, even after a couple of bad rounds. Well, more than a couple. This Neon, he needs to be taking space, and he's done just that. Now they can start to rotate to the other side of the map. They'll be a little bit late, and Mind Freak seems to be just conceding the control.
Not yet back online. He's put the fragment in, but it's only going to deny them the close corner. I think they're going to have to give this one up. Again, looking to play the retake.
Fragment क्या लगाया था यार?
Not going to be denied just yet, as they wait patiently for everybody to arrive.
Taking the leaf out of G2's book. PRX on the way in, and up he goes, but Jing not landing the shot. The trade is good nonetheless. He causes the chaos. Trent manages the recovery, and Jonah P's there to help out. Forsaken, now the last man standing, misses the jump up top, or maybe he intended to stay below. He almost caught Trent off guard, but the reactions of this guy, unbelievable. Another triple for Trent, and 11 rounds now on the board. The home stretch well and truly in full swing for G2.
God, it's not like the other side where G2 can wait for their retakes and just everything falls into place. I don't mind the idea of the sort of the jump up from Jing, even if it's just the surprise factor of it. But
again, अपना something तो बीच में आ गया एकदम से.
Having these positions to just almost maneuver around, that seems to be what's just so impressive about every player on this squad, is their positioning. Again though, financially, PRX after the round, they won off pistols. Economically gonna be good. That looked close, but
crosshair था उसका.
No cigar.
Just a hair away, but it's enough. PRX don't claim the early advantage. G2 stacked up and ready to blitz out of this choke point. If they go for it, they could be in trouble. You've got Jing and Mind Freak ready to exact vengeance on them. Instead, the spike is shifting towards the B side. A bit of a split with some going C, where they know that there's an op. You have to imagine there'll be deep utility used here to push them off the angle. Indeed, it's going to be the Prowler sent through, and it's caught him up close, got the op shot out. Now they've claimed the angle on the side of G2, but is the spike going towards B? Taking the space, the door is open, Nightfall goes through. It's a confusing one for PRX to read, and if they had an IGL, he'd be panicking about now. Forsaken, under pressure, manages the one, but they need a little bit more, and it's something in Jing to deliver.
Leaves Melon alone. First goes his way. Now he can back out of there. Has the spike in his hand. They know exactly where he is, and something, well, a little bit too quick to allow him to get away. A 6th round onto the board for PRX. A big one to win as well. It's going to put the economy of their opponents right on the back foot once again. And that is, again, the thing. Just how disruptive this team can be. The rotations of Forsaken, selling the idea that, okay, he's gone down, Jing can now swing off the same position. And then this man at the back of the site, they give him anything, and he's not going to miss those shots. Still, a long way back. But these sort of back and forth rounds, well, at least winning one and then losing it straight back. It's probably the best thing that could have happened for PRX, because it means that financially, again, G2 are in trouble.
Up reposition this time, playing on the A site to allow PRX to push up on C and take that space. Problem is they can't commit to so many
अगर जैसे प्रथम नीचे बता जैसे स्काई का फ्लैश आता है और अपन ने उसको डॉज कर दिया तो क्या स्काई को इन्फो जाएगी?
And now the world's their oyster. They can take it where they want. Turret still covering their back, but it's about to be out of range. Looks like commitment to the C site, and it certainly is. Straight through his Icy has Showstopper to use, but not anymore. Mindfreak keeping control over the back. He's lit down by the spams and has to be a bit more passive now. The rest of his team on the rotation. 2 stack up on B and 1 further, but they don't know that the snake in the grass yet again, the Viper down below, is on his way. And he's just wrapping for free. It could be an easy kill. He's gone into the smoke though. A moment of solace for Mindfreak, but he doesn't expect there to be a player there. Forsaken's blindsided, and Mindfreak low on the site will struggle to stop this plant.
He's trying his best.
30 seconds
At least one comes up for Divine. Now the time is ticking. This brings things back to even. It's whether or not they want to try and use the Viper's pit, but it might make it tougher to plant. Another one for Mindfreak. Leaf tagged desperately low. It has to be Trent. It needs to be him to try and get something done. And what, 15 seconds left. Plenty of players to find, and in fact, it's a man that started it all. Mindfreak with 3.
Reason to have this man's jersey at home, Tom. Phenomenal player, and a big round from him. Dodging the spams at first, his timing on the shrouded step was unbelievable. Forsaken was unfortunate to get caught blindsided as he walked back through, but the spams here, absolutely gorgeous. Not just taking down Valen, not just taking down Jonah P. I believe it was there. You see it in the kill feed. Leaf as well. 3 players going down through the wall.
The play cam there is quite funny. It looks like he's celebrating before he got the kill.
He's gonna peek me, watch this.
11-7. PRX are on that road to recovery. Now the ultimates weren't used by G2, so they still have them going into this round.
Game क्यों नहीं चालू हो रहा?
But they built up on the other side as well. A matchup that
restart करना पड़ेगा मेरे को.
if PRX can win, they really are getting to the point where they're back in the game. Immediate teleport. I was about to say, if he sticks that, that's a bold attempt. Instead, though, it was just used to give them the information. Nightfall used fairly early, but Jonah P's lurk caught by something.
Yeah, who could have guessed Jonah P would be lurking in this game? Seems something certainly hit the nail on the head. Now the steps are heard leaving the B site, although, okay, the knife gets thrown through, so Forsaken knows there's someone outside B. He'll stick in position. C site, 3 players just outside it. They had success, 3 kills in the last round off just spamming the wall and denying the plant. Looks like they're not going for that this time. Instead, it's Jing running around the nade for Forsaken, and Jing steps right into it. He is farming them up. And on 9 HP, Brave to use this ult through a smoke. And Leaf
1v1.
now has a real chance. 1v1 against the op. This round was looking done. It looked like it was already in the bag, and instead, there is going to be a challenge. The op not going to be the best for spamming through that wall. Something has to hope that he'll find an angle. Leaf knows once this ult goes off, he has time to get the plant in. He's going for it. Something's wild, spams, perhaps. No, he's instead going to close the distance, keep the element of surprise up his sleeve, and try to isolate this man. Caught scoping in. It's a big danger, but he's picked the right angle. It's not over yet for PRX. They pushed up to 8.
It's just a back and forth. It feels like they've pulled G2 into the mania that is PRX, with battles and brawls, a 3v1 that Leaf almost manages to turn, but again, a safe pair of hands is something with that operator. Jing, though, they're just the fact he's playing. Again, we've seen this earlier in the tournament, just playing through the fragments. And that is filthy. Just couldn't quite get it done on the last G2.
जीत रहे map 3 आएगा.
The last 6 rounds. They're going to take themselves a pause. I think a necessary one as well, because we've said in the last map, they were able to weather the storm. They were able to play up against PRX's style with them taking aggressive mid-control, them running it down. They were playing it perfectly in those retakes, and in the post plants, they were sublime. PRX have started to deny them getting those plants, and that's where it becomes a little bit more problematic.
Well, you're seeing the first timeout for G2. They haven't had to use any so far. Remember, this was, what, 9-3 at the halftime? An impressive, and the pistol went to G2. So a really impressive
This could have been
recovery.
over like 10 minutes ago.
In fact, with most teams, with most games, it would have been over.
Yeah.
But PRX have started to find themselves a little bit, and with 3 rounds in between them, it is definitely the time for G2 to touch base with the coaching staff. This round, not likely to be the one that they win. They've got pistols. They're very light investing, no heavy shields whatsoever, a few ultimates online, but again, unless you see Jonah P headshot 3 people, or 2 maybe, you're not likely to see that showstopper pulled into effect, unless there's a big mistake from PRX.
Yeah, same for his Viper's pit as well. It's like you've got a stinger in case that eventuality comes about, but a lot more is needed. It's so aggressive. Already, immediately taking control towards that C site. It's left something alone. This could actually be the bigger problem for them. He's going to manage to dodge, but they're trying to pressure with a low buy, looking to get as close as they can. He's repositioned, but the shots are missed. He's now somewhat stuck in the mud, and they're waiting for that rotation to come back in. Shots connecting. Icy found another one, and he goes for even more. And not even needing that showstopper when he's got the pistol in hand.
Trent's behind as well. He was biding his time on B, and there's no way they expect him to be here at this stage. He's recovered a rifle, and it's the freest kill of his life with Jing down and out. What a way to push up to 12 from G2, a round that seemed like they wouldn't have a chance in. They had nothing but pistols for the most part, and here they are, just Devi, 1 against 4, a Viper's pit to fight through. Icy, who's popping off everyone on rifles, bar Jonah P, who doesn't give a damn inside his pit, and a showstopper just for good measure. This is a disastrous outcome. And sure, he takes down 1, but that matters little to G2 right now. A 3K for Icy, a MasterCard Thrifty, and with that, 4 chances to take the series with a G2-0.
It's going to be the thorn in their side, a slip up, and one that it's unfortunate. Like you put your operator on one side, and I thought that was going to be the main problem of the round, but it's mainly just the fact that Icy's able to wrap back in, and then I think he spots, that's it, it's just the shrouded step. He sees just a tiny bit of information and is completely ready for anything Mindfreak is going to do. 12-8. Operator now gone as well. Can't be back on the board for PRX in this round. It's been a huge part of what they have. Jing, he's gone as well.
And the showstopper's active, but Mindfreak's up top. No one was close enough to trade him out. Big swing from Devi as well. They'll double up on it. PRX now with the advantage. They punish the early rubble control. The response seems to be to take it the other direction. The steps are heard as Valen moves up towards B main. They know that he's on his way here, and something is more than ready to execute him. But to run back. Timing for something isn't great because the turret's still there. It's going to catch him and give the information. They know that push has come through, but it does get the rotation to the C site.
But that's the thing. If he doesn't peek that, it will have actually been a perfect stack up for them on the C site. Now G2 can call into question, okay, if he's pushed up, they know it's not B. They know the fake that we sold isn't going to be there. Forsaken under pressure, but he can't afford to give the game away here. And well, with now already they've lost 1. This is an awkward fight to take. He's just about going to make it around the corner.
Trent is so smart. He throws the reveal and then just swings it, knowing that they're probably going to go for the peak. Nightfall goes through in the back of that. Forsaken catches Valen though. A huge kill, but with the Nightfall hitting, Trent takes his moment to go for the flank, moving around through heaven, sees that it's clear. Now you know that the defender spawn is not where they're coming from. It refocuses Leaf. He's now looking towards the water, where he's already heard Mindfreak. TP across, waiting for the steps, and he's turned in the moment. A free kill. Trent now has to do it all. He's pulled out multi-kills so many times in the past, and the first is his, but he's going to swing in and deny that defuse. Not this time. 12-9. 3 more chances for G2.
Yeah, then again, it's going to be a break back immediately after we see that pistol round victory. You got yourself what was a nice attempt to turn back around. After the early battles, it was looking rough, especially with the information that something was able to get with such a deep position. But even still, once Leaf went down, the position for the retake or the clutch for Trent just wasn't a good one. From the depths of hell again, PRX looked to rise. Economically though, again, they're still almost fighting off the back of that pistol, and it's given them enough to purchase once more. And no surprise, we're seeing a push up on A.
Yeah, they've had success taking it. Mindfreak alongside Jing. Forsaken early knife for info on C. and the aggression from something successful, at least in the last round for the information. First fight doesn't go their way. Mound control given over to the side of G2. Orb to be taken. 2 away now from a lockdown, and the push-up on A. The slide in from Jing is gorgeous. Jonah P didn't stand a chance.
It's got to be infuriating. The amount of times he's been picked off by an operator pushing him. And now, Jing sliding into position. The B site looks to be the point of contention. Smokes out, paranoia, utility, but there seems to be a point where they might look to
let's go. अरे भाई यही तो नहीं चाहिए था 3v4.
भाई क्या मार रहा है ये?
अरे वो भी गया. 1-8 से गया. 1v4 चलो.
Devastating round. Let's see if he can do it. And no, immediately shut down.
दोनों 39, एक 38, 39. भाई 2-0 कर दिया भाई. चलो guys, GG भाई.